What's going on, guys? It is May 9th, 2023, and we just got notice. This was reported by KDP that Brett, the lead dev for Pulsechain, just approved the merge for mainnet. So the mainnet, and this was from GitLab. So mainnet incoming. People are going crazy on Twitter. It really seems like mainnet is going to be here within the next couple of hours to days latest. Richard Hart said there's not much to be done 2 days ago. So with the mainnet coming, everyone has their strategy on how to approach it. And it is important that you do it right. And you only have one time to do it. And the way you approach it is going to determine your wealth to a certain extent for the years to come. So this morning, I actually just had a one-on-one with one of my clients, and we discussed the Pulsechain launch strategy. And it went so well, I felt it went so well that I asked him permission to share it on YouTube, and he was gracious enough to allow me to do that. So enjoy the video. It's obviously not financial advice and cannot guarantee you a good outcome, but I felt like it was worthwhile, and I think that the input maybe can be meaningful. So enjoy the video. None of this is financial advice. Do your own research, figure out the strategy that's best for you. But I do think that this could definitely shed some insight into your perspective. If you're interested, join the Patreon, be part of the weekly meetings, Discord, and courses, and all those good stuff. And also, if you're interested in working one-on-one with me, all the links are in the description. Enjoy the video, like and subscribe.
Can we talk more about strategy?
Yeah,
like Richard just says. So, are we ready? I'm not. I don't feel quite. I couldn't say definitely that I feel ready yet. So how could we move me more to feeling like, okay, I got a game plan and I know what to do. Last week was great. We went through, how the pieces fit and work. So what else is there to a game plan?
Yeah, so I mean, right now you have your liquid hex, right? That's what you're going to be using to buy PLS and PLSX.
Right.
Did you get in on PLSX sacrifice?
No.
Okay, so you want both, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's what I want to. That's what I'd like to learn more about, like what. And maybe there's more than one strategy. Maybe if you see like, if this then that kind of flow chart, right? If this starts to happen, then you'd want to do this. If that starts to happen, then be on the lookout for that, and maybe take that route instead. So how would you explain it to a newbie like myself?
Well, yeah, no. So if you're buying Pulsechain or Pulsex on day 1 and 2, there's no bridge, right? So you can't send your stable coins, your USDT or USDC, like your cash, basically. You can't send that to Pulsechain to buy any crypto, right? So there's going to be since you can't use US dollars to buy PLS, PLSX, or PHEX, you're gonna have to. It's not going to be priced in US dollars, so it's just going to be priced against other cryptos, right? So it's ratios, right? So for your case and most people's case, they're sitting with liquid hex, right, to buy PLS or PLSX, right? You have liquid hex in your MetaMask. You're going to change the network from Ethereum to Pulsechain mainnet, right? You're going to go to the bottom of Block Explorer. You'll add Pulsechain mainnet. Obviously, now it's test on V4, but that's going to change, right? So you're going to add it, you're going to connect your wallet, and now you have the power to buy PLS or PLSX with your hex,
Right.
right? So
Okay.
it's only priced in hex. It's going to be ratio. So there's going to be ratios. So the question is, how much hex can you get? How much PLS or PLSX can you get for your hex, right?
And would you want to buy at that moment, or would you want to wait and let maybe, people are going to be jumping in and the price is going to go up? Wait for that sell off, looking at the trend of hex that I think we've talked about.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you sort through that?
Yeah, so I think
Would you be buying at the very beginning, like as soon as it became available?
yeah, so there's two ways to do it, right? There's you can buy at the beginning, or you can just dollar cost average in, or you could there's another way, obviously, is just trying to buy at the right time, right? Just like wait for the dip and then buy. That's kind of something that people are looking at. I think that is there's out of the three ways to approach it, that's probably the most risky, is to just try and time it. I think buying all at once and dollar cost averaging are probably less risky. And I think you can do a little bit of the timing. Like you could take like a small amount, maybe like 10% of your hex, and say, I'm not going to spend this until there's an opportune moment. But I think you, with the overwhelming majority of your dry powder, which is hex in this case, you're going to want to either dollar cost average or buy at launch, right?
Okay.
So I think to decide that, you have to look at the price, meaning how much PLS are you going to get for one hex, right? Because we're pricing in hex. On the testnet right now, you're getting 87 PLS for one hex. So that's not indicative of what the price is going to be by mainnet at all, because it's not real money. This is all just like fake.
But when it does become real, this is what you'd be looking at. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You'd put in
So
one hex and you'd see how much PLS you're getting, how much PLSX are you getting.
so let's see. That's 314 on the PLSX as an example,
And on the
and
PLS, you're getting 87.
87. So
So is this a good deal?
reasons to buy in this scenario. I mean, what would you be like looking at, evaluating, thinking about?
So the reasons, so I mean, there's no way of really knowing what a good deal is until there's a price put on, and but like it's already like too late, whatever. But so we kind of have to guess. And to guess, what I do is to guess what the price of PLS or PLSX is in hex. What like a so like if you can get a lot, then you should probably buy a a lot. You should probably go heavy. So let's say you could either dollar cost average or buy at launch. If you're getting a lot of PLS for one hex or a lot of PLSX for one hex, then you should probably put, go in a heavy. And by heavy, I mean maybe like 50, 60, 70, 80% of your hex, just dump it into PLS and PLSX right away. But if you don't get a lot, then you should probably go in a lot lighter, maybe 10, 20% of your hex you should spend on day one and then buy in increments over the next couple of weeks or months. You know, I think that has to be the mindset. The better the deal, the heavier you go. But you should never go all in at once on day
Mm,
one, and you should never go nothing in on day one either. I think
okay.
I think because if you go all in, there's the risk that you could get a better deal in the future and you won't catch it, as opposed to
Right.
dollar cost averaging you catch it. And then like not going in at all, there's a risk that let's say the ratios could get worse. They could get more lopsided against you, and then you're also going to and then you're also going to miss out by not buying on day one, right? So that's the overall mindset, right?
Okay.
Uh,
That's
but I
very helpful.
yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, definitely. So,
And yeah,
yeah, I mean, you want to keep, I mean, some amount of your liquid hex liquid, right?
yeah, yeah,
For for trends. So we just looked at, okay, in this scenario, anywhere between 40 to 60% one and 10 to 20. If I mean, easily I could go in 10% and 40% in this
yeah.
scenario, and then
No,
keep 50% for dollar cost averaging or just watching the trends.
absolutely. So I think the thing is like, okay, so what's a good ratio? Like, what's a good deal?
Right,
Like, what's a deal that I should really go in heavy on day one, or what's a bad deal that I should really not go in much?
right.
Because like we're not going to know the future price against the U.S. dollar, which is going to really determine if you did well, or whatever. So I think the data points to know that right now is there's not much, but there is data, and that is you have the hex price now against the U.S. dollar, which is let's say 6 cents, 5.9 cents. So that's one thing. So let's get our calculator out here. Okay, so let's do so that's 0.06 cents. Okay, and then there's also the Pulsechain Pulse X sacrifice rate. How many coins you get for what the it was 10,000 coins per dollar at the sacrifice, which gives it a US dollar price of 0.0001 for each Pulse and Pulse X. So according to that ratio, a fair price, well, not a fair price, but according to that ratio, um, 600 PLS or PLSX for one hex would be the price. But the thing is that I think we have to factor in for price appreciation, of PLS and PLSX. I don't think that you're going to get a US dollar value at launch of 0.0001, especially for PLS, because a lot less people got in, and therefore a lot more people want to get in. So I think really you want to maybe factor in a 2 to 3x. So we'll divide the six. So to do that, we'll divide it by 2.5. I think that's more reasonable. So you'll get like 240 for one. You know what? I think we should divide. I think that's being too. I think we should factor in maybe a 3x. Let's factor in a 3x from launch. So we'll do 600. So we'll take the 600, factor in a 3x from launch. Divided by 3 is 200. So 200 to 1, I think, I would say that is the ratio you should be looking for, especially for PLSX. That could be like a baseline. Maybe you go 50-50 at that point. But honestly speaking, I think we have to be a little bit more considering all the hype. 200 to 1 is I would consider that generous, and I would maybe go in like 60%, especially if it's 200 to 1 for PLS. I'd go 60%, I'd say, in on day one. If you look at the current ratio, you're looking at 87. I think that's a little bit lopsided in favor of PLS. But I would say anything over 100 to 1, I'd go in 40%, especially for PLS. PLSX, we could say 2 to 300, 40%. But let's say you're getting 87, or let's say you're getting 50 to 1. So then I'd be a little bit more frugal in my day one purchase. So if I was like here, this is the current ratio, I'd go like 30%, 30% on PLS, and I would probably dollar cost average thereafter. And you could dollar cost average daily because the gas fees are going to be super cheap. So I think that's the overall mindset you have to have. Now your outlook on what's cheap and what's not could be different than what I just said, but the overall, so you're going to have to figure out exactly what works for you. But the overall mindset that you want to have is the more PLS or PLSX you could get for one hex, the heavier you go in on day one, the lighter you get in on day one. Let's say you're getting like 20 to 1. If you're getting 20 PLS for one hex, then you should probably only go in like 10% because that is very, very expensive, I think.
If this was 20 to 1 instead of 87.
Yeah. Now, the reason why I say, now you could say, why not just hold off completely? Because markets are unpredictable and it could go to 5 to 1, 20 or 10 to 1 might be a good deal. Maybe it'll go 5 to, I mean, that's a little bit crazy, whatever, but I'm saying theory, you get the idea, it could always get worse, could always get better.
Sure.
So you don't want no exposure, but you don't want to go all in as well.
Right.
That's the overall approach that you have to have. So like when Richard Hart tweets that the Pulsechain mainnet is live, you're going to want to connect your wallet. You're going to have to obviously add the token addresses for eHex, once you're on Pulsechain mainnet. And then what you are going to want to do is you're going to go to the PulseX website, whatever Richard Hart provides for the URL for the site link, whatever. You're going to put in hex. You're going to type in 1, and then you're going to put in PLS, right? And you're going to see how much you're getting. And if it's a lot, if it's in the hundreds, you're going to want to go in heavy. If it's a little bit, meaning I'd say under 100, especially under 50, you're going to want to be a little bit more frugal and dollar cost average.
Okay. So again, looking at this, so PLS was 87 to 1 and PLSX was 314 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
So a little heavier on the PLSX side.
Yeah, so let's say we dig a little deeper. So you have, let's say, 1,000 hex dry powder, for example's sake. You have to allocate, what do you like better? Do you like PLSX better or you like PLS better?
Is there a way to analyze that or get a feeling for that?
I mean, you have to decide which one's going to do better over the next couple months and years. And according to me, and I'm
not financial
advice, and there's no way of knowing for sure. This is a very unpredictable thing.
Sure.
I think PLS is going to go up, going to appreciate more and faster. And the reason for that is because a lot less people got in. So a lot more people want to buy it. A lot more people got in on PLSX. I think 4 times more. And those people all want to buy PLS. So I think I would go slightly heavier on the PLS with my dry powder. So let's say I have 1,000 hex. I would allocate maybe 60% to buying PLS, 40% to buying PLSX. And then what I do is I look at the ratios. Okay, so of my 60% for PLS, okay, we're looking at the PLS 600 PLS, right? Of that, how much of the 600 PLS do I want to buy right now? And basically to decide, you're going to look at the ratio. You're going to type in 1 hex, and you're seeing you're getting 87. Okay, that seems a little bit lopsided in favor of PLS. So of my 600, I'm going to go in, 175 PLS on day one. The remaining 425, I'm going to dollar cost average over the next couple of weeks. And then okay, that's what I'm going to do with my 600 PLS. Okay, what about my 400 PLSX? I'm getting 314 to 1. That seems a little bit more generous, considering they have the same sacrifice rate, this one's 3 times more. So of my 400 hex allocated to buying PLSX, I'm going to put in 65%, let's say, right? So that would be like, what's 65% of 400?
400. Yeah.
400 times 0.65. It's like, okay, I'm going to put in 260 right now. Then the remaining 140, I'll DCA. That's kind of the approach that I have, and I think that's the mindset. Now, for everyone, good ratios, bad ratios is different. Everybody has different values, like what they feel like is fair and what's not, and which token they value more. Some people might want to go in heavier on PLSX, because of the single-sided staking mechanism or whatever. And they might think the game theory is better, which I think it is. But so like they'll do 600 PLSX, 400 PLS, or whatever. So I think it all varies differently, and only time could tell who did it, who played it right. If PLSX
Sure
runs up a lot faster, than the people that bought more PLSX are going to gotten out better. Also, future will determine what are good ratios and bad ratios. Like if right now Hex is trading to PLS, it's 87 PLS for one Hex. Let's say I think, oh, hey, that's too expensive. But in 2 years from now, you're trading at 30 PLS for one Hex, then essentially, you made a mistake. You should have gone in heavy on the on day one, because 30-1 compared to 87-1 is a lot more expensive. So I mean, ultimate, you know what I'm saying? Like right now it's 87, right. So I think that seems a little bit too expensive. You don't want to go in heavy. But if in a couple of months from now you're trading one Hex for like 20 PLS or 10 PLS, then It really was an opportune time. You really should have went in heavier. So I mean, we're not going to know. We can only guess. But I have a method to the madness in terms of like guessing that I think is gonna play out well, and it definitely sounds reasonable. It definitely is based off something. So I think it's the best thing to implement, but only time is going to tell whether or not what I'm saying is a good or bad strategy. But by that time, it's too late.
Okay.
You got to implement your strategy now based on your thesis.
Right. And that's very helpful to me. So is any of this information likely to change? No, because this is all play money at this point, and is just we're just using this as an example. So the next step is going to be when it's going to launch, and you're jumping in, and then you're seeing these numbers live.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
What else would you be looking at? Would you just, once it's up and running, then you say, okay, I'm applying the strategy that I had. I'm seeing what actual numbers are here, and then I'm gonna adjust my first day trading trades accordingly.
Yeah.
Okay. And so whatever number of Hex we have now, is it okay? Is it we're going to see double that amount, or we're going to see EHEX and PHEX?
EX and PX. That's really what it means by double. So there's also, by the way, aside from your buying power with PHEX, which we talked about first 2 days, 2 days later, the bridge opens. So you can send your EHEX, meaning your wrapped hex, onto Pulsechain and also check out the ratio. So you're going to switch it to wrapped hex. I don't know. It's not here. Oh, yeah. Is there W hex? Wrap PLS? I don't know. Whatever. Point is that yeah, so you'll be able to bridge that over, and then you could check the ratio for that. Might be better, might be worse. Probably will be a little bit worse, and you can implement the same sort of strategy for that. You know,
Okay.
you could even also check your wrapped hex ratio to p hex, meaning your e hex to p hex. If you want to buy p hex, let's say you don't want to stake on Ethereum because it's too expensive, you can see how much p hex you're going to get for one e hex, and maybe just trade it and stake it on the Pulsechain network. So it's
Okay.
very multifaceted. There's a lot of things really happening, and that's why it's really good to prepare.
Right. Right. Well, that's what I'm investing in right now.
Oh yeah.
So, okay, when when it finally happens, um, you'll be getting on and focused on your trades. I'm gonna jump in and try to do my best at my trades.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, and also like you're obviously a patron, and you work with me one on one. So you could, if you want to do one on one during that time, you could just let me know and I could get on the call and walk you through it. And also you can, if you don't want to do that, you can also just send me a message, like, hey, I'm looking at the ratios and what do you think? I mean, we could correspond. Also, if you want to do it, if you want to also, there are other people in the group that are really smart. Crispy Man's in the Discord. You could hop on the Discord and, start discussing it with people and see what they think, see what Crispy Man thinks, see what other people in the other patrons are thinking, and really bounce it off of them. That's the point. Like you're not in it alone.
right.
There's other people here. Although we can't guarantee things will work out perfectly, whatever. But it's definitely there's definitely there's definitely what to work with. That's what's good about being in the Patreon. Like
Yeah.
there's people you could bounce off, be in touch with.
Well, yeah, this is gonna be exciting.
Yeah.
It's,
And everyone's going to be doing what you're doing. Everyone's going to be once it's announced, people are all going to go and check out the ratios and see, and they're going to implement a plan. And there's going to be a lot of winners and there's going to be a lot of losers. But I think in the long run, if you're not trading, if you're just getting in a position and you're dollar cost averaging and buying, I think you're going to be a winner. I think I'm going to be a winner. So I think the only
that's
real losers are going to be people that are trying to time the market, get in, get out
right.
from one PRC20 to the other, or from crypto to dollars. And I think those are generally the people that really get destroyed. Where there are people that come out that made life changing wealth, and like there are also people that come out losing everything. And I think the people that are trying to do risky things and make a lot of money very fast, I think those are the people that are going to walk out maybe not as happy.
Right, right. Okay, so let's see. So once it opens up, once it starts, probably within an hour or so, you will have implemented your strategy, correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So is there might be a possibility that we can get some time together?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Well, this is exciting. Um, okay. And if I hear anything, yeah, from the connections that I have, I will definitely at least pass them back to you for consideration and
Yeah, and
what it,
I honestly, if it's not like personal, so you're in tier one, so you're entitled to obviously DMs. But if it's not personal, and I would prefer bringing it up on the Discord, because then everyone could really see and we could
okay.
really
I
get
think
everyone
I
involved. But
I think I got to go on Discord and get a little more comfortable on that platform.